Red Dreaded Nation, this is Holly Quinn saying you better tune in or we'll bust your neck open.
Comics Plus, what is going on? My name is Akasan. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. We're about to go beyond our expectations and interview the cast and crew of Batman Beyond. It's coming out this month on home and digital. You gotta check it out. One of my favorite series. I'm dressed to the T for it all. Let's go ahead and see what the cast and crew thinks about Batman Beyond.
So my name is Alan Burnett, and I was a producer-writer on Batman Beyond, and I'm now retired. I've worked for 26 years at Warner Brothers, starting on Batman the Animated Series, and my last series was Justice League Adventures. So that's that. That's me. Anyway, so I'm ready for a question.
I feel like you're really underselling like how integral you were to the whole DC animated lineup in the 90s.
Well, yeah, I did a lot of work. Batman has been with me since 1981 when I was doing the Super Friends, which had another name. I keep forgetting that. And I wrote a Batman pilot for ABC in 1985, which they said, oh, this is a little too much for the 6 to 11-year-olds. And then when I had a chance to do the Batman show, I came over and I've stayed there ever since. And that's me. It was a great run.
We talked a little bit about the fact that this show, from the beginning, at a time when it wasn't super popular, was very diverse. And obviously you had that, and then Static was going on at the same time in this kind of world. How important was that to you guys, 20 years ago when you were starting to look at how to shape the future of animation?
I don't think about shaping the future of animation. I just do what I can and do what interests me. You're talking about Static Shock?
Yeah.
Static Shock was a lot of fun to do. It's interesting. Static Shock was they wanted to do a 6 to 11-year-old show. And they wanted brightness. So the first 2 seasons of Static Shock, one of the mandates from the network was everything takes place during the day. And then we had a show with Batman, and we went to them saying, listen, we're going to put Batman on a show, but he never works during the day. He works at night, so we're going to have night. And we've been trying to push night because night looks so much better. So when Batman came on, most of the show took place at night, and the network said, why does the show look so much better? And we said, because you have colors popping against black. And so that, from that point on, Static got a little, we could do things at night with it. So Batman even affected that show. Little known fact.
I did read that there's 11 episodes on the original release that got damaged. What was the process of restoring those episodes?
I don't know. It's all new to me. I didn't realize they got damaged, and since I wrote a couple of them, I'm not happy. I think the egg babies in those, I don't think they're damaged. I just think I don't know what the process is. So I couldn't tell you. I'm not sure that makes a big difference when you actually see it. So, but. I don't know. They haven't given me a copy of this the box of the show. So I'll see it when you see it. I think.
How do you feel about 20 years later here in the show? It's being found by new generations and it continues to build and have this cult-like status. How does that make you feel?
It's great. It seems like it's been 20 years to me. But I think it's great. I think there's much more to be done with Batman Beyond. I think it was a fun concept, and I would love to see somebody else take it over and give it their own spin. It would be great. I know of no plans for such a thing, but it would be terrific. It was a good show. It had good roots to it. It was a solid foundation, and so we'll see what happens.
What was the process like when you wanted to make this show and you're like, you got to cast a new Batman? What was the process involved?
Well, we just it was pretty quick. We went to the network and we thought we were going to have a meeting about Batman, and it turned out we were having a meeting about young Batman. That's what they wanted. And they felt they could get a 6 to 11-year-old audience easier if a kid were in the costume. And so we immediately started working on that. There's not even a Bible for the show. I wrote the outline for the first 2 episodes, which is a 2-parter, and that turned out to be the Bible. I mean, we give writers that and say, come up with something that follows this. So the casting was, I just remember it was done very quickly. Lauren Tom might have been here. She was one of the first that were cast. Bruce really liked her voice, and everybody said fine. And Will Friedle was terrific, and so it got cast pretty quickly. Everything happened quickly. Sometimes the good stuff happens fast, and that was the case on this show. So
You're probably the only person, well, one of the few people who could answer this question that's been bothering me for decades.
yes.
Are the Snorks genetic precursors to the Smurfs?
One day, I worked on the Smurfs, and I wrote a Snork. So you're not going to hold that against me.
One of my favorite shows is a kid.
Well, Peo, who did the Smurfs, he sent us a cartoon stills, of a Smurf taking off his cap and having a snorkel pop out. Yeah, Hanna-Barbera is just it borrows from it steals from everyone, and Scooby-Doo was from Dobie Gillis. The Honeymooners turned into the Flintstones, and in that respect, I think that the Smurfs turned into the Snorks. That's the way it is. I didn't do much on the Snorks, a couple of episodes, but it would always be a secondary series because of that.
Is there something special about Batman Beyond simply because so much of it is original, whereas when you go back to things like Batman the Animated Series, you're using existing properties and it's not all you guys so much?
Yeah, your question was, is there something
Is there something special to you guys about it because so much of it was original and comes from you guys as opposed to like reinterpreting the comics?
Yeah, it was. It's special to us because we love Batman, and we started really to love the idea of this old curmudgeon Batman who gets this protege that he doesn't want, he thinks, and the protege's a rebel, and they don't get along, but yet there's a strong father-son relationship going on. We fell in love with that. And out of that, everything grew. We wanted to create new villains for this show. We didn't want to go back to the old villains. And so everything was developed pretty organically. Like I said, it happened quickly, and we were making it up as we went along.
Do you find that writing for voice acting is done differently than writing for stage acting?
Writing for voice act
versus writing for stage or film? Is there a difference in how things are written?
Well, all I can say is that I read the dialogue out loud to make sure I'm not stumbling over anything. So you take care doing that, and you tend to, quite frankly, direct the attitude in the script as a shorthand for the actors. While with live action, they resent that. So, but mostly it's just being careful that the words, the sentences are easy to say. Also, I don't write a lot of dialogue. If I see dialogue that's over 6 lines or over, I start to worry because that's a long time for somebody to be talking on the screen. And people can have long things to say, but I'd like to break it up with action and actually write that action in the script. So that's the main difference.
What's your favorite episode that you have written?
Well, my favorite episode I've written of everything?
Between the animated series or Batman Beyond?
It was a Superman episode. It was the first Superman-Batman team-up. That's my favorite script that I worked on. My favorite script of Batman Beyond is The Egg Baby. Hillary Bader was one of our writers. She's not with us anymore, unfortunately. She came in saying, I read this article about high school students who had these robot babies that they had to take care of to show them how much responsibility babies are. And she said this to me, and I saw the whole thing. I saw it completely. And so I co-wrote the story with her. She wrote the script, and I edited the script. I really liked that story. That was a lot of fun. And that got us the Emmy. Superhero shows don't get Emmys. They just get no respect. But that was a funny show, and people responded to the comedy of it. And so that's my favorite.
How did it feel to get that Emmy for your work?
Pardon?
How did it feel to get that Emmy?
Oh, it's great. I have 4 Emmys, and all of them are somehow connected to Batman. Even Superman was a show that featured Batman, and Batman Beyond, and then The Batman. I don't know what the 4th one was.
Speaking of comedy in your scripts, do you aim for a certain percentage of comedy when you're writing a teleplay?
I like comedy, so yeah, we try and put it in there if we can. I can't say that it's. I don't have a percent,
okay.
But yeah, and that was one of the things we liked about old Bruce Wayne is this old fart is kind of funny when he's cantankerous, and so we had it. So that's what worked for us.
How do you feel? Oh, sorry.
Of the 4 Emmys, is there one that means the most to you? And if it's so, why?
The Batman Beyond one means a lot to me. I was just happy because I thought it was a great. Everybody was working at their peak on that show, and I was very happy with that. So, and nobody pays attention to them. I have them in my house lined up, and I don't think anybody's ever looked over and seen, oh, there's some Emmys there. Maybe one person.
Take a picture of it, put it on the fridge.
That's right.
How do you feel about Kevin Conroy playing as live action of Bruce Wayne? Live action version of Bruce Wayne.
Great, and I don't know much about it because we're going to talk about that later on. But Kevin is great. Kevin is the voice of Batman forever, So, so I don't have an answer for you.
No, I hate it. Hot take.
No, he's great. Everything he does is great. He's a terrific guy. So, anything else?
Was there anything that you've written on the show that never made it into production, like when you were working on Batman Beyond? Like anything that came to mind?
No, although, the show, they wanted to do a Batman show with a young Batman, hoping to get a 6 to 11-year-old audience. And we who were doing Batman, we had a feeling for this hero that just, strangely enough, when we made him younger, the show got even darker. And I can't explain it except to say that we were trying to be true to Batman, and we wanted to explore stuff in the future. It's a future that is has technology, but it's like living in an urban nightmare. So the show got strangely darker, and that's why I would have liked to have gone on to finish out the series, because it was supposed to be 65, but they ended at 52 because the 6 to 11-year-olds were just they weren't getting the audience that they wanted to advertise to. So that's why the show got cut short. There are other things I would have liked to have done with it, but I'm glad it still has a life. It went on to, he appeared in other shows. He got his own comic book, and it's pretty much part of the Batman legacy. So that I'm very pleased with.
What's next for you?
Do you own any Batman comics?
Yes, yes, they're in California. I'm now living in Florida, and they're in California. I haven't seen them in a while, but yes, I do.
What's next for you? What's the future hold for you? What is some goals?
I've been retired for 2 years.
So that's it?
So it could be. There's talk of me doing something but I can't talk about it.
Does a writer really retire?
Yeah.
Well, it's been a nice 2 years. I've enjoyed myself. So, anyways, all right.
All right, thanks.
Thank you so much.